What's up, guys? So, finally putting up my 9.0 tier list to be a multi-part series, and I'm actually recording a separate thing for YouTube because I realized, hey, I could spend about an hour on each part for like 15 to 20 characters. But if you want to see it, you can check out my Twitch where I get the full explanations. This is going to be more of a summary of why each character is where it is. I also changed this a little bit for my tier list post online. I have to think about a few things more. I also might, for future parts, do editing with gameplay footage and stuff, but I don't know, that's a lot of work. But anyway, let's get into this. I'm going to start from the bottom tiers today. And as you see in the bottom tier, it says still good characters because Ultimate is balanced, but I buffed them a bit. So just because the characters bottom 5, bottom 10 doesn't mean they're just unusable garbage. It just means they're garbage crits the rest of the cast. So like even the worst characters in the game have some good matchups before someone goes, hey, DK only loses slightly to Palutena. He's not bottom 10 or bottom 5. It's like, alright, man. But, I don't know, bro. So let's get into it. Right off the bat, worst character in the game, I think, is after all the buffs of other characters, Little Mac. And what hasn't been said about this character, right? He has good ground moves, and then that's it. Like, alright, his ground moves are pretty good, yeah. It's hard to jump top him, hard to whiff anything in front of him, hard to challenge him. Sure, he can beat on the edge guards sometimes, because the side B is a pretty generous hitbox. But like, when I really just have to summarize by saying that's all his strengths, really, I guess he was pretty hard. Oh, and KO punch is a thing. It's like, alright, you got that stuff, but considering almost any character can beat him by just clamping platforms, edge guarding, juggling properly, just abusing the fact that he lacks good aerials, yeah, the character's kind of a minigame. Alright, next up, Ganondorf. Ganondorf's the character that kind of just suffers because every other character has been buffed pretty much, like, that's above him. Like, almost every character in the game's got buffs at this point, right? And the Ganondorf's just here chilling like, bro, where's my buffs? I'm a big, slow character who gets edge guarded easily if you chase him off stage. You get juggled easily. Like, bro, I'm Ganondorf. I need something more. And yeah, I think his biggest weakness is that even though he has good hitboxes and pretty decent frame data, obviously mobility is one thing, but he also does have disjoints, which you can find is a very common trend in a lot of these characters down here, is the lack of disjoints in Ultimate hurts a lot because a lot of characters have pretty generous disjoints or hitbox projectiles. And if you don't have either, you really need some other major attributes to help you out here. And Ganondorf just doesn't have that. Almost every character just beats him by using his disadvantage state. And his neutral, it's not too great, but can be very scary at the same time. That's the nice thing with Ganondorf, at least, is he's very scary. Speaking of scary, you wouldn't think Puff is scary in this game. But man, even though she's one of the worst characters in the game, in my opinion, she's still pretty spooky. She has like down air rest setups. She can like tech chase you with like up B if you press on a platform and then rest you. Her edge guard can be insane with like low to mid% like Nair and Bear strings where you just die. Her air mobility lets her kind of avoid going to the ledge, so you basically have to catch her with juggles a lot, which is pretty annoying for some characters. And she's weird in that she doesn't actually seem that bad, and she kind of isn't actually that bad. But I also can't give you any matchups she just definitely wins, because she's just so light, and once again, no disjoints at all. Like, hitboxes aren't that great, no disjoints. Her ground speed stinks, which is fine because the air speed's good. But because you pretty much always have to jump in the air to do something, or like commit to dash attacks, which is super punishable as her, it's really hard to just approach people, and it's really easy to kind of react to her and just like punish her jumping at you. And you gotta be afraid of messing up for her, like almost anyone. But she doesn't have ways to force you to mess up. Like, she doesn't have any crazy projectile setups, crazy tech. The closest thing she has is like side B pressure on block. And if you're overcommitting a lot, she can just punish you with aerials, but it's not really that big of a deal. Alright, Isabelle. I don't think the devs know what they're doing with Isabelle still. Like, I don't think they even buffed her last couple patches. I think they gave up on her. It's like, I don't know. She's supposed to be like a character that keeps you out, and then like kind of makes you approach though with like forward air, back air, but then like walls you out with like down Bs. I mean, yeah, down Bs. Side B should be kind of annoying, and it kind of works. But then characters who can like out camp her, you know, there's pocket, just like, alright, good luck with her. Yeah. Characters with swords can just kind of outrange her and pressure. Characters with really good frame data and like speed can just get in her face. Hell, her down B doesn't even function that well, which is very unfortunate. And it's like, she has a good set of buttons. But like up tilt, nair, forward to even her jab's pretty good. She gets like little like jab loops into like down smash and stuff at higher percents. And she has a lot of decent stuff. But it kind of just gets outshined by most characters. And she just her attributes stink. She's pretty slow. She's so light. She's absurdly light. And then unless they fix it, I don't think they might have actually. I forget if her role was buffed or not. So I'm actually not gonna mention that because it doesn't even matter. She's just like, she's actually easy to edgeguard too, despite having a tether recovery on the side, because it's like the worst tether recovery in the game. She's a poor character where I don't know what the devs were thinking, and I almost feel like she's a joke character at this point. Alright, DK. Every time a new DLC character comes out, you know he's getting comboed, 0 depth, DK. Poor character. He is probably the biggest combo food in the game. And like, sure, he can blow you up with like dash attack conversions, grab conversions, but man, he's a big character who gets 0 to death by everyone as a joke. He has like almost no dish joint, so he has to basically potentially get out disjointed by almost any character. He has the projectiles because he's a massive character, makes it hard for him. His recovery is garbage. And really all he has is that he has pretty good mobility. He's fast on the ground, fast in the air. He has some good frame data and some pretty big hitboxes and just good power. But man, you are definitely handicapping yourself if you're trying to play DK and beat people. Speaking of handicaps, Lucario, next tier. Now, I do think there's a pretty big difference between like the characters in the bottom tier and the low tier in terms of how good they are overall. Even if these characters are still pretty bad compared to the rest of the cast. Lucario got buffed a little bit last patch. Jab is faster, down smash I believe is faster. I think his aura also scales a little bit better. So like after like 64% he's getting a bit more damage than he was before, which is nice. But it doesn't change the fact that when I look at his moves, I can't tell you a good move he has besides Aura Sphere. It's like back air's alright, especially with high aura. Dash attack's okay. Jab is decent now. I guess up tilt is okay. Like he has a lot of moves that are okay. But outside of Neutral B, which isn't even that good until he has high aura and becomes like a big hitbox like used for approaching or just camping. It's like until that and like side B at very high percents. His moves are just kind of bad. And then his recovery is kind of bad too because it's so like hard to control and easy to just catch him like slipping with. And this one character can just 2-frame him and cover him for free like Palutena. And honestly, just, you know, Aura is a hell of a drug. Aura plus Rage. Man. It's like if you had him without Aura, he'd be the worst character in the game. I will make that claim confidently. He'd be a worse character than Lucario if he didn't have Aura and he was just like always functioning as if he was at like 50% Aura. Even at like 80% always, he'd be like, eh, you're alright, but not great. He's a bad character design. Like in terms of his moveset, his attributes, everything. Alright, speaking of bad character designs, Ridley's actually a sick character design. But man, oh man, did they not do him justice. Out of all the heavyweights in the game, first of all, he's like the lightest like big character, right? He's still pretty heavy, which is nice. But it does feel better when you get comboed and killed a lot earlier than your other heavyweight counterparts. And then like his hitboxes are probably the least generous of all the big characters in the game. Outside of Nair, he has so many hitboxes that are so precise because he uses like his tail. It's like down tilt hits very low. It's a very good move, but hits so low. Forward air, it's a lot smaller than you'd expect. Back air is tiny for what you expect. Up tilt's small. Forward tilt's not as big as you'd think it should be. And it's like, sure, he has some big moves like Nair and up air. Forward smash. But he needs more big moves because he has so many blind spots using a lot of his moves. And even though he has a decent amount of dish joint because of his tail, it's just not that great. And then you consider the fact that he's super slow in the air. He's a massive target. And his frame data is not that great. He has like no good shield pressure. Like outside like space down tilt, like forward tilt. A lot of his shield pressure isn't that good. A lot of his moves on whiff are really punishable. He lacks good shield option because like I think his Nair is frame 7 or something, maybe even slower. And then even his grabbing game isn't good. Sure, he's a command grab, but like that's pretty reactable. Also, I should mention that this is an offline tier list. Although obviously it's because of COVID, I'm making this based on online. So there's a lot of theory. You know, watching Japanese VODs. I've got probably one offline session since COVID started. So yeah. And then the other thing he really has is the only thing that really stands out about him that's particularly good is his ledge trapping. Between down tilt, forward smash, Nair. So he has pretty good ledge trapping, and his edge guarding is okay, although his airspeed kills him. And his recovery is pretty solid because his up air is massive and his up B is absurdly big. But even then, his ledge game is garbage. Slow airspeed, not great frame data, massive body, means at the ledge, he just gets kind of wrecked. I'm sorry, really players. I think this character is hype as hell. I love this character. But, man, did they not do this character justice. Speaking of not doing this character justice, Bowser Jr. has been in the game since Smash 4, and man, I don't know what the devs try to do with him anymore. He's like a mini Sonic that has like a lot of projectiles for like setting up like ledge traps and like item play. And it's cool, and I got some distance thrown there. Then he has some like super armor in his side B, which is after the buff is pretty useful. But a lot of characters still have good enough moves to punch through, which is thank goodness. If that side B armor was like too busted, this game would stink. And then he has like up throw combos. And then they decide, hey, we're gonna buff all his ledge trapping, like with forward tilt and forward throw, make him so he can kill you like 100 plus pretty easily. And I was like, that's cool and all, but what is he supposed to be? It's like he has these kind of like mix of good strengths in a not cohesive way. Like I still can't tell you he's supposed to be like a setup trap character, considering his like down B and his neutral B are pretty bad moves overall that are just good in his kit compared to like what he has to work with. And then he has things like a decent forward air that like doesn't really stand out though. And I just don't know. I don't think the devs know either. And he needs buffs, but I think he needs a more cohesive game plan. Like I think like maybe make like his projectiles a lot better if they want to make him like a projectile character bursting down. Maybe make like his normals across the board better if they want to make him more like a run at you and like mix you up with burst options, side B, and like spaced out like disjoints character. Maybe give him like combos that can carry you to the corner more in the ledge if they want to make him like a super scary ledge trapping character. But right now, it's so easy to camp him out, so easy to out like footsie him, so easy to react to like him using project all of his specials pretty much. He's pretty easy to edge guard and juggle. It's also very vulnerable to rush down too. Like his frame data isn't that good, so characters can just pressure him, and it's like, man, you're just lucky you're a kind of small heavyweight character with some absurd damage output and kill power and some key moves like forward smash and up air combos. Speaking of damage output, Dr. Mario. The Doc is here. This is the first character I think of in terms of like characters we're talking about so far where I'll describe him as loses almost every character, but his neutral is just good enough that he can outplay people. Like if you want to handicap yourself, but you still want to have a good chance to beat people if you're better than them, I think Doc is the worst character you can do that with. I think Pills are absurd. Having jump in projectiles that give you free openings and pressure, really nice. Really nice. Oh my god. And like if you find a character that can't deal with that, or a player that can't deal with that, there you go. You just get free openings with a character that hits hard, has some pretty good combos off down throw, and it's pretty heavy and can kill very early. Like, that's nice. His frame data is very solid. He actually has pretty, I'd say he has pretty solid hitbox. I'm not sure I mentioned this before. And yeah, it's like, he just excels at hitting you and doing a lot of damage quickly, even if he's not going to get big combos on you. It means lighter weight characters, especially, where they're not really combo food anyway, don't want to deal with Doc. I think a backer is like almost 20 damage generally. Combine that with setting up like potential jab blocks sometimes to get like really early forward smash kills. Down throw, down B, and like down throw for near ledge kill obscenely early. Characters got sauce. And I'm acting like the characters are good, right? Like all these great things about him. And they throw him off stage. And like, there's gonna be a lot of better characters where they have the same issue if you throw them off stage. But a lot of these characters have things that are more saucy than just Pills being a really good projectile neutral. While, like, not being absurdly slow characters. Yeah, as you know, being slow in this game stinks. Having a bad recovery also stinks. And speaking of both, hey, look there, it's Incineroar. Now, Incineroar is the slowest character in this game. And man, does it feel like that. Man, are there lots of characters who could just run away from Incineroar, throw things at him, and say, hey bro, you're not hitting me. And Incineroar has his counter to stack up damage if he gets close, which is very, very horrifying, especially after the buff to it, which means that stacks up damage even more and has solo and leg that if you're not ready to punish it, he gets away with it for free. But man, you feel like a Palutena playing lame, a Mimic playing lame, almost any good character playing lame, as Incineroar, bro, you better hope you can outplay your opponent and get the biggest conversions off single hits. Because it's not even about his moveset. It's not even about the fact that, like he has some great moves. Almost all of his attacks are good. Command Grab, Neutral B, Tilt, Aerials, everything is phenomenal, honestly. If you get close enough. And boy, is not only close enough. And then his recovery is also very subpar. Once the inside of the angles on his up B works, you can intercept it pretty easily. And then side B is just a bad recovery if you call it out right. Combine that with very bad airspeed and oof. He's the character you just throw off stage and kill him. I would just recommend doing that over juggling him because of his neutral B. It's not easy to juggle. It's kind of easy to juggle him. You just gotta get used to it, even with neutral B buffs. So yeah, I think his saving grace is that versus slower characters who can't just play lane for him, he's solid. Like if you're fighting out the heavyweights, he does a good job dealing with them, and I'm sure he has a lot of other matchups among better characters that aren't too bad because of his raw just damage output on all of his the fact that all of his normals are really good if you can get in their face. And yeah, that is my bottom tiers for this game. My thoughts on these characters, why they're there, and we're gonna get to more characters next time. Probably post these videos. I don't know, like maybe one video every 2 or 3 days. Try to get these out quickly. And alright, guys. With that said, peace out, y'all.